Okay, so what are we here for today? I want to talk to you today about self confidence, about self belief. And I'm going to start with a question. Have you ever wondered what happened to the old confident me? So many of us, particularly in midlife and as we get older, we lose our sense of self confidence. We start to question ourselves so much more than we used to. So quite often we get to this point where we're thinking, what happened to the confident me? What happened to the woman who used to be a go-getter, the woman who used to be able to speak up in any situation? Where did she go? What happened to her? It's a really common problem. We used to worry a lot less, right? Worry a lot less about what people think about us, about how our ability to do a job, our ability to show up, all of these things creep in over time, these worries, these niggles, these self-doubts. And as we get older and we have more experience in life, quite often it becomes harder and harder to keep hold of our self-confidence, to keep hold of our self-belief. And in this session for the next little while, I want to share with you some ideas about where that confidence might have gone, but also how to get it back. Some simple, practical steps that you can take that will help you bit by bit, day by day, moment by moment, opportunity by opportunity to get some of that self-belief and some of that self-confidence back into your life and help you to grow and achieve the things that you want to achieve in the next phase of your life. So today we're going to look at why has this happened? Why have we lost our self-confidence? Where did it go? We're also going to look at what is really holding us back. So when we look at opportunities, when we look at our life, when we look at our relationships, what are the things that are really holding us back from achieving the things that we want to achieve? And then thirdly, some practical steps. So what are the practical steps that you can take today to actually start you moving forward in this? Feeling better, looking better, standing taller, showing up more, speaking louder, all of these things that are going to help you in your life to get the job that you want, to have the relationships that you want, to have the family life that you want, to be able to do the things that you want to do without fear of judgment, without fear of showing yourself up. Now, let me tell you something honestly, fear doesn't disappear altogether, right? You know, those people that you look up to, the people with all the massive amounts of self-confidence, the people, the CEOs, the business people, the singers, the actors, all of the people that you know in your life who've got loads of confidence and you think, I want to be like that. I used to be like that. I'm going to be honest with you. Everybody has fear. Everybody has these moments of self-doubt. So you're not going to eradicate them altogether, right? We're always going to have. And actually, there's a lot to be said for a little bit of fear. Sometimes fear keeps us safe, right? And that fear that you feel, sometimes it's adrenaline. It's because you care. So take a job interview, for example. When you feel afraid, when you're a little bit scared, when you have a lump in your throat, that's because you care. It's because you want to do well. You want to show up. You want to make a good impression. We care a lot less. We don't have a lot of fear in the situations where we don't care, where we're not that bothered, where we don't have an end game in mind. So don't try and get to a point where you have no fear at all. What we're trying to get to is more self-belief, more standing tall, more self-confidence. So let's have a look at why does confidence fade? Where did it go? Right? You might remember back at a time that you had more self-confidence when you were maybe younger. Maybe life had bashed you about a little bit less, right? Where did it go? Why did it fade? Some people think that you're born confident. I don't know about that. I think in a way you are. Like if you look back at yourself as a child or look at children that you know, kids don't generally have very much fear, do they? There's a reason why we have to look after them so well, right? But they also don't fear about judgment. They don't really care what other people think. They run freely, they run through the fields, they say the things that come into their minds. They don't have so much of a filter. They don't have that fear in their life. When you ask a child what they want to be, what they want to do, they'll tell you the truth. They'll tell you honestly, and they have no preconceived ideas about what's acceptable and what's not and what's okay. And they don't really mind what you think about that or whether you approve of what they say. They'll just say it. So how do we go from that, because we were all there at some point, to where we might be now, where we're not feeling so self-confident, where we do worry about whatever people think? And I guess it's to do partly with, as a child, you haven't had those knocks in life. You haven't had those people judging you. You haven't had life knocks. I look at it sometimes a bit like your life is a bit like you're living in a storm, right? So if you think about a stormy situation, your house gets battered, your fence gets battered, the wind blows, and each of those little things can have a damaging effect on your house, on your home. Similarly, as we go through life, as we go through the storm of life, that can happen too, right? You can have things that happen that bash you, that knock you down, that damage your exterior, if you like, or damage how you feel about yourself. We also have a lot of responsibility as we get older, and we carry a lot. And particularly as women, right? We carry so much with us in our day to day over time, in our 20s, 30s, 40s, when we're going through life. It's busy, it's hectic. We may have jobs, we may have children, we may have responsibilities, we may have relationships, and we carry all of these things. And it's a bit like we start off with this empty bag, and over the days and over the years and over the weeks and months, and as time passes, we put more and more responsibility into this bag, and we carry it about with us, and we get up in the morning and we put this bag of responsibility on every day, and it gets heavy. And how often do we take out anything out of that bag? Hardly ever. So we have all of this responsibility on us. And as a result of that, we stop investing in ourselves. We stop so much looking at what do I need? What are my boundaries? How do I need to show up? So that can be really, really challenging as we go through life. And thirdly, and this is something very close to my heart, constant comparison. In the world that we live in now, comparison is so constant. We're looking at social media, we're looking at our friends, our family, the people around us. We're looking at everything that's around us all the time and comparing ourselves to that. How do I compare to this? How do I compare to that person? How do I compare to the person on social media that I'm looking at? How do I compare to my neighbours? How do I compare to my work colleagues? How do I compare to the people I aspire to be like? And that can have a really damaging effect on our self-confidence, because we look at all around us what's going on in everybody else's life and feel justified in thinking sometimes that our life is not as good as that, or we're not as good as that, or we don't look like that. And over time, that has a knock-on effect all the time in your self-belief, self-confidence. I'm not as good as the people that I see on my social media. I'm not as good potentially as the people I see in my office or where I work, or the people in my industry. So it's important that we pick ourselves up from that, and that we actually invest in ourselves to feel better, to show up more and have that self-confidence. And then the fourth one really is about not keeping promises to ourselves. And this is a really big one, and it's not something that people talk about so much. And it's the little promises that we don't keep, the walk we don't go on, the phone call we don't make, the exercise we don't do, the water we didn't drink that we said we were going to drink, the coaching course we go on that we didn't turn up to. All of these little things, promises, like small things. Making the bed in the morning, we didn't do that. I was supposed to clean the kitchen today and I didn't do that. Like, we then look at the end of the day, we look back on all of the things that we didn't do, all of the problems that we perceive how badly we performed in that day. And over time, again, you feel bad. I didn't do this and I didn't do this and I haven't achieved that and this didn't happen for me, and all of these challenges that we have. So over time, it starts to affect your confidence. And these are just a handful of some of the things. So if you add all those things together over time, when you get to your 30s and 40s, is it any wonder we don't feel like ready to take on the world all the time? Because we've stopped investing in ourselves, and we've carried all this weight around with us, and we've taken all these knocks. So looking at all of that, what is holding us back now? What is truly, truly holding you back from being the best version of yourself, from having that confidence, from waking up in the morning feeling confident? What is truly, truly holding you back from that? And there's 3 or 4 things that I'll cover before I cover some ways to fix this. Number 1, I want you to remember this: action comes first. So It's not about having no fear. It's not about waking up feeling fantastically confident. It isn't always about that, right? It's about taking the steps. That people sometimes think we'll wait till I'm ready. I'll wait till I'm ready. Well, actually, ready never comes, right? The right time is never here. But when you take the steps to feel better, to look better, to show up, to have more confidence over time, the confidence comes after the action. You have to actually take the steps first. So what's holding you back from doing that? Number one is usually a massive one, fear of judgment. Like how many of us, all of us to a point, right? We worry so much about what other people think. What do the neighbours think? What does my boss think? What do my friends think? What do the people on my social media think? What do my family think? Worse than that, and probably more insidious than that, is what do the people who don't even know me think? The people on my social media, the people in the street. I call them they, right? People say, what will they think? Who are they? Who are they? Who are we actually worrying about? And when you actually get under the skin of that, the fear of judgment is a huge holdback factor. But I want to tell you something, little secret. Most people aren't overly concerned with you and I. It's just a fact of life. Most people aren't judging you. They aren't sitting at home thinking about you, worrying about you, concerned about the things that you're doing in your life, the silly thing that you said, how much you overstretched yourself, how you showed up on your social media. People generally aren't doing that. Of course, you get keyboard warriors and people that have got nothing better to do than pass a comment. But most people that matter have their own stuff going on. So there's a saying that I want you to remember. I think it was Mark Twain, who said, we'd worry a lot less about what other people think about us if we realize how seldom they do. I'll repeat that. We would worry a lot less about what other people think about us if we realize how seldom they do. When people do pass judgment on you, it's fleeting. It's not the be all and end all of their life. The only person's judgment at the end of the day that really matters is your own. How do you feel about you? How much do you love you? How proud are you of you? Will you make mistakes? Yes. Will you get things right? Yes. But other people, allowing them to hold you back is really a foolish thing to do, but it's really common. So when you find yourself stepping into that, falling into that, I want you to remember they're not thinking about you. They just aren't. Where I'll give you a fantastic example that works really well. Think about when you're in a group situation and you have a photograph taken. So you're on a hen do or a work party, or there's a family photograph, and someone takes a photograph on their camera and says, is everyone happy with that? And you look at this photograph. Who do you look at in the picture to see if you like the photograph? Yourself. You look at the photograph, you look great, and you're like, yeah, that'll do. You don't look at everybody else around you. What's Mary wearing? What's Jim got on his head? What's going on over there? She's got her eyes closed. We look at the picture and we go, yeah, I'm okay, or no, I'm not okay. And that's it. And life is the same. People are looking at themselves. How do I look? How do I feel? What's going on with me? So try and remember that and move yourself away from worrying what other people think, because that's the number one thing that will hold you back. Secondly, perfectionism. Perfectionism is actually fear in disguise. Trying to be perfect, trying to have the perfect thing, to be the perfect person, to be the perfect wife, mother, employee, business partner, whatever it might be, parent, person. You set this bar of perfectionism, and then when you don't achieve it, I can't do anything, I'm a failure, I'm blah, blah, blah. And actually, it's really about fear. Because we're worried about failure, we set ourselves up for failure. It's crazy. Nobody's perfect. Nothing is perfect. Nobody, that perfectionism, to move away from that, because nobody is perfect and it is really only holding you back. Thirdly, negative self-talk. I'm sure you've heard this before, but would you speak to a child the way you speak to yourself? I'm too fat, I'm too stupid, I'm too thin, I'm too old, I'm too young, I don't look right, I haven't got the right financial situation, I'm not talented enough, I'm not clever enough, I don't have the skill set. Can you imagine turning around to a child and saying that, any of those things? The negative self-talk is an absolute killer for your confidence. So when you hear those negative things coming in, you need to change your language, and from I'm not these things to I am these things, or I will be these things, or I'm not these things yet, which we're going to come to in terms of some of the practical steps that you can take. And then the final one in terms of what is holding you back is waiting to feel ready. Waiting for the right moment. I'll apply for the job when I'm ready. I'll start the business when I'm ready. I'll do that reel when I'm ready. I'll have that conversation, the difficult conversation, when I'm ready. I'll ring that person when I'm ready. I'm telling you now, you'll never be ready. You just have to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go for it. Whatever the thing is, rip the plaster off and go for it. If it's about generally being confident, like I said, taking steps to get more confident and feel more confident will come from actually doing the thing, keeping your promises, etc. So what are the practical steps, Emma? What can I do? What simple things can you start today? So we're not trying to change the world here. I'm trying to give you some ideas, some things that you can do today that will help you to improve your overall confidence levels, to feel better, to stand a bit taller, to jump out of bed a bit faster in the morning. So number 1, keep a small promise to yourself today and then do the same again tomorrow. So every day, keep a small promise to yourself. So for example, what I want to do today is drink more water. So I'm going to keep that promise to myself so that by the end of the day, when I get into bed tonight and I look back on my day and I think, I did that. I drank more water. I feel good about that. I achieved something. It's a tick in the box. So whatever the small promise is, keep it. Something achievable, something you can do, not like a great big lofty thing that's going to take you all day to achieve. It could be make your bed. It could be you're going to go for a walk today. It could be you're going to phone a friend that you haven't spoken to for ages. It could be that you're going to go to bed an hour earlier. It could be that you're going to have a healthy dinner. Anything, whatever it is that you want to do, keep the promise to yourself and do it. When you consistently over time keep those little promises, you start to feel better about yourself. You start to feel like you're achieving more things. Number 2, change your language. Now, I've covered this a little bit, so I won't labor it anymore, but the language that you use about yourself. So change from I can't do this, I'm no good at that, to I can't do this yet. I'm working on getting better at that. I'm learning how to do this. That language will change your connections in your brain to make you feel better about yourself. We are so hard on ourselves. I'm no good at this. I'm no good at that. I can't do this. And they become the stories about ourselves that we start to believe. Actually, they're not true. You just can't do it yet. So I can't speak Japanese yet. But if I'm learning to speak Japanese, if I want to, I could do what I need to do to be able to speak Japanese. I just can't speak it yet. I'm learning to speak it. I'm getting better at it. Changing that language will change how your brain functions and how you see yourself. Number 3, take one brave action every day. So this one might be a little bit harder, but one brave action every day. And that might be a different thing for everybody. So your normal could be somebody else's massive. So what's your brave action that you can do today? Could be speak up at work, in the business meeting, on the Zoom call, unmute yourself and say something. It could be in your relationship. You really want to have a conversation about something. Just speak up over dinner. Can we have a conversation about something? One brave action. What's the thing that you're a little bit scared of? Not terrified of, but a little bit scared of, that makes you be brave. Those brave actions over time, phenomenal difference to how you feel about yourself. Number 4, celebrate and collect evidence. So keep a list on your phone, in a journal, wherever, of all of the small wins, of all of the things that you do well, when you keep the promises, when you do the brave action. Collect the evidence of how good you are, of how well you performed, how good you can do things, how well you can do things, how great you are at X, Y, and Z. Collect the evidence and keep it somewhere. Because then you can lean into it, not only when you start to believe that you're better and feel better, but when you do have those wobbly moments and you do feel a little bit, you've got something to look at and go, actually, I have all of this evidence of how good I am, of what I can do and what I can achieve. Collecting evidence and keeping it somewhere is a game changer, let me tell you. It's a bit like journaling. If you don't do that, at the end of the day, write down all of the things that you did well and really focus on them. And then the final one is stop waiting for permission. If you're waiting for somebody else to give you permission to show up, if you're waiting for somebody else to give you permission to be and have and do, you'll be waiting forever. You already have permission. The only person you need permission from is yourself. So if we're waiting around for approval from somebody else, to be allowed to do something, to be allowed to feel better, to be allowed to be confident, to be allowed to apply for the job, to be allowed to show up more, if you're waiting for that, it's not going to come. You have the permission. The permission needs to come from yourself, and you already have that. So hopefully that gives you an idea. It's a top line summary. There's so much more that sits behind this, but I wanted to give you some simple tools that you could use straight away. Some simple, just stuff to think about. Some little things to start thinking, like maybe I do worry too much what other people think. Maybe it doesn't really matter about this, that, or the other. Maybe I could keep that promise to myself. Maybe I am more able than I think. And when you do bit by bit and start questioning your own doubt, question yourself in a positive way. How can I do this better? Why do I think like that? Can I change that? Am I able to change that? And remember, you build it. So if you think about what I talked about before, the storm and the storm that we all go through in our lives and the battering that you might have taken, if your house takes a battering, you rebuild it. If your fence blows down, you rebuild it. You make it stronger, you make it better so it doesn't get bashed next time. So you rebuild yourself. We rebuild our confidence. We put the little jigsaw pieces in place every day. Those repeated actions, those repeated good things, those repeated stories that we tell ourselves that are positive over time, and it doesn't take much time, by the way, over time you start to feel better, start to be more confident, start to take more choices in your life and more opportunities in your life that come across. You'll start to take them instead of going, that's not for me, I can't do that. You'll see things that you never even saw before and go, I'm going to try that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to have that conversation. I'm going to apply for that job. I'm going to start that business, whatever it is. It's not gone. So your confidence, your self-belief, it's not gone. You had it. It's just been buried just for a little while. Over time, these things that happen to us, things people say to us, things that we see, over time, they start to bury it. But what's buried can be found. And if you remember nothing else about this last 20 minutes or so, that what's buried can be found one step at a time, one conversation at a time, one positive act at a time, one piece of evidence at a time. Dig yourself back out of the lack of confidence. Start to show up more. And bit by bit, day by day, moment by moment, piece of evidence by piece of evidence, you'll find you again. You'll rediscover you again because you're in there. The confident you, the expressive you, the you who you want to be, she's in there. Just have to dig her out a little bit. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you found that useful. I actually do one-to-one coaching. I do group coaching. I have lots of different programs that you could get involved in if you'd like to. If this is something that's resonated with you, this is an area of your life that you need to work on, then I really would love you to reach out and we can have a conversation about anything that I have and I could do that would help you to progress this more. Because when we start to believe in ourselves more, when we start to invest in ourselves and grow ourselves, the next phase of your life could be so much more positive and so much stronger, potentially, than the previous phases. So you can book an appointment with me, we can have a call, we can have a chat and see what's available for you to take advantage of that can help you. If not, thank you so much for joining me. I am going to do these lives every week. So I'd love you to join me next week. I'll be covering another topic around how to be more confident, how to show up better, how to feel better, and how to have this next phase of your life be as good as possible. Thank you so much for joining me.